I'm made for more. Don't you dare put me down. I'm made for more. You need to understand, I carry God. There's no stopping me now. I'm taking nations.
Why not talk about it? How are you doing? Hope you're well. I'm sure you're wondering, what are we not talking about? Or what are we talking about? Sex. Yes, sex. Or lovemaking, however you want to call it. Sex is created by God. Sex is pure. Sex is holy. We pervert sex when we get out of God's perimeter for it. We mess it up when we want to do it outside of God's counsel and outside of God's plan for it. We mess it up and we make a mess of it and we perverse it. But apart from that, But apart from that, sex is holy. It is created by God. And who else can tell us about it more than the creator of it? Sex is important within the context of marriage. God created it so that a husband and a wife within the context of marriage can appreciate it. I see, and the thing is, as Christians, we don't even want to talk about it. Meanwhile, as Christians, we don't like to talk about it. It's unholy. And that's because of how we have perceived it or how we have seen it, because the world has told us a different idea of it. And that is what is in our mind and heart most of the time. But apart from that, it is pure, it is holy if you let God, if you let your source of the knowledge of sex come from God. It is a holy thing. It is a precious thing, right? We don't talk about it, but guess what? We get married every day. We don't talk about it as Christians. We do it because if you're married, and as a Christian, remember, I keep hammering on married. It is not. God's idea and concept is within marriage. That's what it is, right? We don't like to talk about it, and a lot of us are married and we are having issues in this area. And I've discovered is one of the problems, one of the major problems in marriages within, with married people, And single people also need to be educated about it before they get into it in the context of marriage, right? There are things you need to know about sex. I see sex as a glue that fathers bind a man and a woman together in marriage. Never miss that concept. I see sex as a nail that further holds down things together. Sex is a binder, right? This is why we are advised to do it within the boundaries of marriage, right? Because when we go out of the perimeter within that boundaries, when we go out of that boundary, we begin to join ourselves with other people. That's what it does. We join ourselves with other people and we begin to have issues. We begin to have problems. So it's not advised that you do it outside of marriage. But within marriage, sex is holy. It is pure and it is good. It's a binder. It binds you together. I mean, God is the one that puts you together, but sex further brings you together, right? And as a Christian, we don't want to shy away from this. Because over time, shying away from it has made people who have the wrong knowledge of it talk about it. Shying away from it has made people who are perverts, however you want to say it, talk about it. Shying away from it has made us learn it from, X-rated movies. Shying away from it has made people, get their source of knowledge from it. It is from what they've seen in the world. And that's what they play out. And we keep saying, we see, I see it as that elephant in the room that we want to ignore. And we cannot. It is important. Within a godly home, marriage, it is important. And in my recent counseling, of people, young, some people older who are trying to be married, and some that are married, I spoke of an experience that is important that we don't talk about. Most of the issues we have with it is miscommunication. I'm talking now within marriage. Most of the issues we have with it is miscommunication between the two parties involved. And I want to talk about just one instance. This might sound to you that, oh, does she have to say it that way? Does she have to be that direct? But it's the truth. The journey for a man in sex or lovemaking within a marriage and the journey for a woman is totally different. The journey for a man within the context of marriage, when we're talking about sex, and the journey for a woman is totally different. A man's process is faster than the woman's process. A man gets there. It's like taking a journey and traveling. A man gets to that journey faster than the woman does. Probably 3 times before the woman gets there. And this simple understanding has caused a lot of problems. Where some men don't just understand that you have to be kind, that when you get to your destination, you have to find a way to bring the woman to her destination. Most times, what we have in our homes, not all, I pray and believe, right, is that the man gets on this journey, he goes fast, he gets there, the woman is not there. And once he's done, because it takes a lot. Once he's done, he goes to sleep. I'm not speaking from my head. Once he's done, I'm telling you, experience. Once he's done, he goes to sleep. And the woman is left at the middle of the road. It's like leaving the woman it's like you take, okay, let me make it simple. It's like you take a car and you decide, honey, let's get in a car and go on a journey. And then you get to, let's say you're journeying from Lekki, which is, in Lagos, Nigeria, right, to the mainland. It's like you get to Third Mainland Bridge and you drop the woman off and you zoom off. Imagine that. That's what happens most of the time. And then you zoom off and she's just standing there. What next? And you are sleeping. Now, we understand that you are tired because it's a lot of work. But the thing is this, there is a way sometimes women are not so difficult to please, right? It takes nothing for you to, when you get to your journey faster than she gets, it takes nothing for you to cuddle her. It takes nothing for you to wrap her in your arms so that she can feel loved and helped through the journey. And you don't just say, well, you should understand I'm tired. You should understand. I mean, that was a lot of work. That was a lot of work that you enjoyed. I didn't enjoy it. And half of the time, what then happens is you now have women who have become disconnected. So they just do it for the sake of it. I'm talking within the context of marriage. So when it is time for it, by the way, I don't even understand when people time these things once a month and, once a week. I don't know. I'm talking within people that are married, not. And if you're single, you're listening to me, you cannot do it outside of marriage. Now, because you cannot do it or you're still single, doesn't mean you should not be educated about it so that when you get in, you know what you're doing, right? So you have that kind of situation where the woman is just left hanging and all that is required is just a little hug, a little, holding her to just say, I understand, just give me some time. Let me get myself together and we'll go again. But it becomes a problem. You become angry. Your ego becomes bruised. You feel, oh, what does she even want? But it doesn't work like that. You need to understand that our journey is different from yours. You need to understand that the way she gets there is not as fast as you get there. And if you want to help the marriage, try and wait for her. If you can't wait for her, try and carry her, massage her, care for her through the process. I said because of this, a lot of women have just zoned off. They are detached. So when it's happening, they just don't invest. So that I don't want to start a journey that you don't finish. So let's just wait, do what you want to do and go. And that cannot be in a marriage that is God ordained. That cannot be. We cannot now start pretending, right? The Bible says that your body is your wife's body and your wife's body is your body. You should be able to find a way to come to that place. Like I said, it is not hard. Understand how it works. For the man, it is faster. For the woman, it is not. That information will set a lot of people free. This information will make people understand how to cope when it starts. This information will make people understand that it doesn't take much. Do you understand? I am tired. I have gone through this journey. I am there and I'm exhausted, but I will hold you through your own process. I will hold you and help you. I won't sleep off on you. I won't act like I don't care, and then wake up one morning and expect it to happen again. And it should not be done from resentment. So this is why things must be talked about. Within the home, things must be talked about. Within, as Christians, it must be talked about. Whether you are single or not, begin to know. So that when you get in, you know how to prepare. Let nobody demonize sex for you. Let nobody change the idea of sex for you. And don't have a pervert idea of sex from the world. Have it from how God made it, within the concept of marriage, within the contract of marriage. It is beautiful. It is holy. It is God made, and God can help you with it. It is not something that you don't want to talk about. Like, God, you can't talk about things like this with God. You can't talk about sex with God. Oh my God, that's so unholy. No, God created it. Talk to him about it. Be truthful to one another about it. If there are things you don't like, talk to him about it. Talk to God. Talk to your partner about it. Don't be quiet. Don't become resentful. And don't start doing it out of resentment. It will yield nothing. It will further push you away from each other rather than glue you together. These things are not as difficult as we look at it if only we'll cleanse our minds, cleanse our hearts, and see it. It is what people do. The old, the young, within the context of marriage, the clergy, everyone, or the clergy, however you want to say, they do it. It is normal. This is not a sin within the concept of marriage. It is a sin outside the concept of marriage. It destroys outside the concept of marriage. It glues you with several people, and you'll have to deal with detaching yourself from all of that if you engage in it outside of marriage. But within marriage, it is beautiful. And let's renew our mind about it. As plain as this sounds now, some people will say, she can't just talk about it like that. She needs to be cautious. What have I said wrong? She can't just discuss it like that. She needs, these things. What have I said wrong? It is happening. It is a reality. People are not satisfied, and they can't talk about it because they believe that God is upset with them when they talk about it within the concept of marriage. I keep saying that. It is a big problem. Let's even try and be kind to one another, prefer one another. Like I said, men will understand your process is faster. Also understand that the woman's process is not as fast as yours. You get there sometimes 3 times before she gets there. Help her through the process. And it's as simple as giving her a hug. It's as simple as just holding her in your arms till you're able to recover your strength and go again. It's as simple as that. And there will not be issue. It's not so difficult to just be kind to the woman and help the woman through the process as well. We don't want wives that are resentful. We don't want wives that just do it for the sake of it. We don't want wives that, when you're not looking at them, they're looking the other way and they're just doing, and then when you're looking at them, they try to smile like they're enjoying it. They're not. You don't want that. You want truth within even sex, within lovemaking in your home. That's the way you get the benefit of it. Anything at all we are doing, whatever it is at all, it has to be done in spirit, in truth. You have to do it from that place. Otherwise, you won't get anything out of it. This is Holy Gist Podcast. It's about God, it's about Jesus, it's about the Holy Spirit, it's about you, it's about me, it's about us, it's about the truth, it's about information, edification, and transformation. It's about life, and we go up from here. I'll see you next time. I love you.
I'm taking names.